everybody, it's Susan here from Susan Makes Jewelry and more. I wanted to show you what I've been up to. I know I haven't made any videos this year so far, so I'm going to kind of catch up a little bit and show you what I've been kind of working on and what I'd like to continue working on. You see these little bowls right here. I decided I was going to follow some tutorials that the wonderful Susan Bailey from Turtle Soup Beads did a couple of tutorials back where she showed how she made little finger trays like these, like ring trays I guess you call them. And so I have like a ton of canes. And I was trying to think of what I could do with them because you can only do so much. You know, you can make slabs and all that. But anyway, I cut up a whole bunch of cane and I put them all together. And I basically just fit them to the different dishes that I used as a mold. And I put it as, put a backing on it and made it a certain thickness, and they're fantastic. I put this gloss glaze on them. I hadn't done it right here in the video, and then I did these glass dishes where I put the clay directly on the glass and cook it that way. The others are done against a tray. You cook it on the tray and then you just pop it off the tray. But anyway, I don't like to put the clay on the very bottom so that I can see what the heck is going on at the bottom. I use the liquid Sculpey to put on the outside of the bowl. And then I just start laying my canes, and you have to try to get them the same thickness all the time. And one of the things that really helps me a great deal is when you're cutting them, try to cut them as much as you can at the same time. But there are several different places that make cane cutters, I guess you call them. And I got a really cool one from the Heart Beads, and she's got a lot of fantastic stuff there. And so she makes them in circular ones and in square, and you can, I think there's like 3 different sizes. And so I have the one for circles, and so I went ahead and just cut them out with that. And you can try to get it the same exact slice size, thickness. That's what I'm trying to think of. And then you just lay it on your bowl. And once you get it all to where you want it, then you take either your roller or your knitting needle or what have you and roll it on, and everything's good. So this is kind of what I want to do today. Is these are all I have left of my autism awareness canes. They are practically gone. And as you know, I have a young man, my son. He's going to be 21 next month. He has autism. And so the month of April is Autism Awareness Month. So I want to get this done and on, even though I know it's already the middle of the month. But I want to show you how I make my canes for with the Autism Awareness puzzle pieces. And so it's usually the primary colors, red, yellow, blue, but I like to add green, and what else do I add? What else do I add? We got blue, red, yellow, green. Some cane I've got, I added purple. But yeah, I think green is just the extra color I added. It just needed a little something else. So I went ahead and mixed. I didn't have any green. So, yeah. I mixed blue and yellow together. See the cadmium red I used. And the opaline, the white opaline, I love it. It kind of gives it a softer porcelain look. And so I mixed up the red and the white opaline together, and then you get it all mixed up together. I have blue opaline, Cernit opaline. There's the puzzle piece die that I'm going to use on the extruder, and then a whole bunch of translucent Cernit. But yeah, the only place I found the puzzle piece die was through Lucy Clay. She has her own special extruder, but these just happen to fit this type of extruder as well. So I'll leave a link for everything I've used and where I got it from. Okay? So what I've done is I've gone through the extruder with all the colors and put it through the die. I put the die in the lid, and I think I have a little bit left over. Yeah. So I was going to show you what it looked like. It's the same with every color, but see how it comes out? Isn't that cool? Cool. So then what I did was I took the translucent and I made little tiny strings through the extruder. And what I do is I take those strings and put them through the little crevices of the cane or the puzzle piece, so that it keeps the puzzle piece from closing up, so that it stays looking like a puzzle piece. And you just it just takes a little bit of time and patience, but in the long run it turns out really fantastic. And this is the easiest way I was able to come up with this idea to make the puzzle piece cane. So I made several. I think I had less yellow because I used so much of it in the green, because the green was really dark there, so I had to put extra yellow in there to lighten it up. But if you see here, I put the translucent Cernit in there, and I'm squeezing out all these little strings that I can put in the cane or the puzzle pieces. And once we get those all done, then we cover it in. Once we get all of the little crevices with something in there to protect them, then we cover them in more translucent clay. Now, if you want to have colored clay instead of translucent, go for it. I just happen to like the look of translucence, because then once it's baked, you're just seeing the puzzle piece. What I did at the end of this was I took pictures of everything that I made, and I finished up those two old canes that I had at the beginning. So I finished those little guys up, and so you'll see the difference, because each one of these canes is a little bit different than the other. But see, here's the little pieces of translucent, and you slowly get it put straight so that they'll stay properly. And if you're real careful, it's good. If your clay is conditioned, it should be pretty easy to do. And see, it just slides right in that little crevice there. And you just gently put it in. Make sure that it fits in there real good. Pinch it off. Go to the next part. And like I said, it's time consuming, but to me, it's better to do it this way than to just cover them in translucent clay without protecting those puzzle piece crevices. Otherwise, they're just going to kind of mush all together, and you're not going to really see the cane properly. That's like one of the first canes I did. Ooh, it didn't turn out so hot. But then that was when I first started doing polymer clay about 4 years ago. I decided oh yeah, I can make canes, no problem. I'm still learning, guys, 4 years later. But I tell you what, polymer clay saved my life. Saved my life. I was just depressed. I didn't have anything to make me happy. I live in chronic pain, so it was really, really hard to find something that made me happy. And I had been making jewelry for many, many years, but it was so expensive to buy the beads and the focals and all that stuff. So yeah, it was really difficult. And so I was watching YouTube one day, and I saw some YouTube videos on polymer clay and how people made their own focal beads and whatnot. I was hooked. And this has been the best 4 years of my creative existence. I've always loved making something, and my mom is, little miss, I can sew, crochet, knit, cook, bake, I can do everything. Yeah, see, that's one of my first ones. That's actually the second one I made. The other one is my first one. But you can see how it didn't do real well as far as holding the shape of the puzzle piece. And that's the little bowl I made of them. See how they're all smeared up and not holding well. But that's the translucency of the Cernit clay. The Primo clay, I like between the Primo translucent and white translucent. The white translucent I like better on the Primo. But it's entirely up to you. You can do it any way you want. It's your thing. I'm just telling you what I like to do and how I like to do it. And I thoroughly enjoy coming up with something that maybe someone else hasn't come up with. But if they have, so be it. I know we're all in this big wide world together. And so anyway, I do all these colors up, and so when I get done, I'll be back and show you what I'm gonna do next. Oh, my new cutters. Don't you love them? Aren't they cute? They're little word bubbles. Isn't that what they call them? Word bubbles? Anyway, so I'll be back when I get all these done, and I'll show you what's up next. Okay, here we go. I have each one of these done up, and I tried to make them about the same length. And I wrapped them all up in translucent clay. Some I made thicker than others. And all I started doing was putting them in some kind of an order that I wanted it to look like. If you want all red to be on the outside, or if you just want it mixed up, it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. But see how that translucent clay inside the things, it keeps them separated so that it looks like a puzzle piece. It doesn't just look like a blob of clay. So, yeah, I put it on a number 3, wrapped it, and like I said, there are some of them I wrapped even more so that it's a thicker look. You can put them together. You can add clay in the middle of them if you want. It's entirely up to you how big you want your canes to look. So this is how I started it. And I took some translucent clay, and I made triangles with my fingers. I laid it down, and just pinched one side, as I show you right here. I just pinch it and it makes a triangle. And that pinched side is going to go in a crevice that I want to put in the cane right here, so that there is actually some other clay in between. See, it fits right in just like that. And then that's going to give you a bumper against the other one, so that it's not like right smack dab next to each other. There's some clay in between so that it doesn't look silly. And like I said, I tried to cut them all to where they're the same length, but there were some of them that were already shortened out. I got sticky clay everywhere. That's okay, it'll all get covered up. But I think I ended up making 2 little canes out of it. But and then you can reduce it down to whatever you want. Now see how there's this little gap here in between? That's why I put that translucent clay there. It just gives it a little extra oomph, so that you don't have this one on top of the other. And I think they turned out quite nice, considering that I was kind of rushing through it, but I really like the look of the Opaline. This is the first time I've done it with Opaline, and I really quite like it. It gives it that soft porcelain look, and the white is especially pretty. But I thought about doing translucent clays, because I have all of the colors in the Cernit translucent. But I'm like, no, let's just shape it up a little bit different. So that's what I ended up doing. I used the Opaline, and if I didn't have the color in the Opaline, I mixed a regular color into white Opaline and did it like that. And I probably went through a half of a large container of translucent clay. So I usually buy the great big container, so I think I went through like 500 grams or whatever it is. I get the big long ones, but I used about half of one. And I usually get my translucent stuff, all my Cernit, I get from Blueberry Beads. They're in Washington State, and I absolutely love them. They're on top of their orders, quick. They get them shipped out. The prices are excellent, and they not only have Cernit, they have Primo, they have a whole bunch of different other things like texture stamps, and they've got a whole bunch of stuff out there. And like I said, their prices are excellent. They're really quick shipping, and I really love Blueberry Beads. Yeah, see the little lightning bolt? I found that on eBay or Etsy. And my high school mascot is a lightning bolt. And I never saw a mascot that wasn't an animal before. And it's from West Plains High School in West Plains, Missouri. And it's the home of the Zizzers. And if you don't know what a Zizzer is, then you'll never know. You have to become one to know what it is. Does that make sense? Anyway, I thought I would make a bunch of earrings with the lightning bolts in our school colors and see if any of my alums would like to get some of those. But anyway, see how it's coming along? It looks kind of rough and everything because I'm still putting things together, but once you get it all together and you start reducing it, then it really starts to come into shape. And it depends on how you want to reduce it. Do you want to put it in a square shape? Do you want to do it in a circle shape? It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. I actually I have part of mine done in a circle and part of it done in a square shape. I think that doing my bowls, it's easier to do them with circles. But like when I'm doing a slab to make jewelry, I think it's easier to make squares to make a slab. Then you don't have like a whole bunch of stuff on top of each other. But but like I said, like a million times, it's up to you. It's your project. It's your clay. It's your idea of what you want to do and how you want to do it. And if you want to do puzzle pieces in different other colors, go for it. Why am I showing you those? Oh yeah, my gorgeous coasters. I love those. I'm trying to get some other things going on that maybe you guys might be interested in learning how to do. Because I do a lot of resin work too. So if you're interested in learning how to make coasters, jewelry with resin, you'll see at the end of this where I did a bunch of stuff with resin to make jewelry. These are cool. Are those not cool? It's made with washi tape. Now, the washi tape is going to have something to do with another tutorial that I'm working on. So, stay tuned for that. But are those not the cutest? I think those turned out so cute. I got the idea from Leah Diaz Designs, and that was fun to make. It's kind of messy looking because that was the first one I did, but you just put layers of resin and whatever you want to put in with it at that time. So it was fun to make. But I especially love working with the washi tape. It's really fun. And like I said, I'm going to be continuing with the washi tape theme with my polymer clay. So stay tuned for that tutorial coming up probably within the next couple weeks. But to let you know, I am working on a collab with I just love Deb over at Clay Boutique. She is amazing. She's talented. She is funny as heck. And I just love her talent. And she is going to honor me in doing a collab with me. And they will be coming out Monday next week, the 18th. And I'm not going to tell you anything more about it. But just a FYI to keep an eye out for this collab from Deb and I together. I'm super, super excited. It's my first collab, and I hope one of many. So, anyway, so here we've got our cane pretty much roughly put out. I will probably add more polymer clay, or the translucent clay around it, and make it a certain thickness. And like I said, I use a lot of the translucent clay to protect it, because it just has the puzzle pieces and then translucent. So yeah, you're going to use a fair amount, and it depends on how large of a cane you want to make. I ended up making a pretty large cane because I wanted to make a lot of different things. I wanted to make a couple of bowls. I wanted to make some jewelry, and that's what I mostly make is jewelry. My son is graduating his final thing that he's doing in high school, and he's doing a program called Journey, where he has been learning how to get a job and find a job and do the whole interview process and how to do resume writing and everything. and he just got a job last week working at Culver's, which is a fast food place here. And he started working this week, and he is exhausted every day, but he comes home just so happy because he has a job. He's like other people. He's like, Dad, he has a job, and he's super excited. So tomorrow's his last day attending class at school, and then he walked for graduation in 2019, but they're allowed to stay in school until they're 21, so we opted to do that and to keep him going until he was ready to get out and hold a job. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, I think I'm pretty much done with this. I want to get it all of the translucent. I'll probably make a sheet of it, wrap it in that, and probably cut that thing in half, most likely. And then we're going to make some pretties, and I'll show you what's up next. All right. Okay, here's my backing piece. I just took a bunch of my my ends and stuff and just put them all together and rolled them out like that. And because when you're reducing, see, I made a square and then I made circles as well. See, circle and square. But so what you have to remember when you're reducing, to make sure that you go through that middle when you're reducing, so that you don't end up with a lopsided cane where it's all on the outside. Yes, I wrap all my canes in this deli paper because there are some plastics that polymer clay doesn't like so much, and it makes it all gooey and gross. But the deli paper works fantastic. This, I believe, I rolled out on a 4. I think I rolled the backing out on a 4. And then what I do is I'm just going to start slicing my canes. Oh, there's my bowl frame. That's one of the bowls that I used. Yeah, that one. I just put everything on it, baked it on there, and then you just ever so slightly lift it off and it just pops right off. It bakes beautiful. And I bought that ring tray at Walmart, I think. And to me, it's a perfect size. I love using them for my rings, for, gosh, even findings for when I'm making my jewelry. But it works out really, really well. I like to put texture on my backing clay so that it still has a nice look to it, even though it's not as pretty as the front, but it still has some kind of nice look to it. And there are tons of ways you can get things around the house, like this right here. I use this sponge not only for texture, but to bake my rings in, like this. When I put them in the oven, I made a slice in there and they just fit right in there. And oh yes, this is my resin puzzle piece bracelet. But anyway, it slips right in there, and you can make texture with either side. They work fantastic. That's a ring brush, or your fingernail brush, a toothbrush. I mean, there are so many ways you can make texture without buying rubber stamps, and even though I have a ton of those. But sometimes you just want something simple and you're amazed how well it turns out. You're like, why did I buy all this stuff when I have it at home? Go figure, right? But so I ended up using the sponge No, I used one of these. These roller stamps I got from Mary Jo over at Oh Joy Creations. She makes them where they're inward and outward. So you can either get it where the design is sticking out or it's indented. And I didn't get all of them the same, both. I got some of them like that. But for the most, yeah, see, here's where one is out, one is in. I know I'm not coming up with the right words, but that's just me. But I will leave the link to Oh Joy's Creations. I've been dealing with Mary Jo for a few years, and she is awesome. And she does whatever she can to help give ideas. If you've got an idea, let her know, because she's always looking for new stuff to put together. So I'm pretty sure I use one of these for texture. Yes, I did. And some people use cornstarch to put on the clay so that it doesn't stick. Some people use Armor All. I just use water. I have a little spray bottle. I have one water, one alcohol. So I have my little water. See, I spritz it with water, and it doesn't stick. It's really great. Of course, unless you really mush it in hard, but like I did just at the very end. It stuck at the very end. But see how it does? It just rolls right off the clay. I didn't put as much pressure as I should have. But see how it works? It works so great. I love them. And so there is my amazing texture that is going to go on. Now I'm just sopping up the extra water that's on there. Then I will pick it up, turn it around, and that will be my backing clay. Cool, huh? Somehow that felt thicker. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to that little tiny spot. But anyway, so then all I do is I start putting my cane slices on top of this backing clay. And once I get the cane slices on, I started out doing it on this little tile, but then I realized that it was just not doing the job the way I needed it to. So, come on, Susan. You can do it. I'm trying to wake up the clay a little bit because it's rested for 24 hours, I guess. And see how it's kind of crinkled from the plastic that it's been wrapped in. But a lot of canes, you need to kind of wake up that clay so that it doesn't, so that it works better, so that it's more elastic and whatnot. If you just start cutting into cold clay, it's not going to give you the great job that it could if it were. That's what Susan Bailey calls it. You wake it up. Wake up the clay. So this is the slicer I was talking about earlier from the Heart Supplies. Rhonda makes the coolest stuff. And like I said, this one is for circles, but I am using a square cane. And I don't have one for square just yet. But it works so amazing. I absolutely love it. It has these three little deals where you put it against the clay and it marks it. It's called a marks it. They mark how thick the slices are that you want to do, and you see this little line, you cut it on the line. See, I just show you there with the cane there. But it's so great. I love it. And it comes with the blade, it comes with the little mark sits, and it's a fantastic tool. So I highly suggest you go over and tell Rhonda I said hi. And I'll leave the link to From the Heart over there too. It's on the description section. So anyway, put you away now. Oh, I made this recording so long ago. Yes, this is a little trick. When you are cutting your cane slices, it doesn't matter how long your blade is, if it's short or long. Now it does make a difference if it's real wiggly or if it's more taut. See, that one's a little less wiggly. But if you hold it the way I'm holding it like that, you'll have less problems with your cane messing up. Like I did in the beginning where they weren't cutting properly. And then see, I roll it so that I'm not just, see, I didn't hold the thing right. See how I've got my fingers up too far on one end? See, that works better. But anyway, when you roll over the cane, then you're not going to mash down one section of your cane. So it'll work really, really well. And I like to, just pinch it out a little bit. And I try to put it together so it looks like it's just a continuation of cane. That it's not just all of a sudden, bam, here's different. Bam, here's another different. I try to make them look a little bit like it has some continuity to it. But, and then sometimes it's kind of fun to make them look different. I'm making it here to where they look a little bit less tore apart. But, and then you have to remember also, once you get your canes onto your backing clay, you're going to burnish them very slightly so that it's nice and even on your backing clay, because you don't want to just put it like that and start cutting pieces. You want to make sure that it's nice and even, and I put that plastic paper over it, the deli paper. I put it over that, and I continue to just burnish it with my rolling pin, or if you have a burnishing tool, sometimes I will use like a credit card just to give it that tautness of something hard. But yeah, it usually works pretty good like that. But once you have it burnished into your clay, then you're going to have a much better look. And I don't generally run it through the pasta machine again, because it's going to distort your cane, number one. And number two, it's going to make it even thinner than it already was to begin with. So that's something you also need to remember when you are cutting cane. Okay? Looks like we finally got her all done. Now I want to wrap. See how it looks though? Didn't that cane turn out nice? If I hadn't put those little lines of translucent clay in each one of the crevices, you wouldn't have been able to see how the puzzle piece was more defined. So here's a little piece there. Just slap her on there. Okay. So I'm just going to roll it just a little bit. Nothing to where I'm going to distort anything. And like I said, I like to take some plastic and burnish it in real well so that it's nice and there's no lumps, and try not to see any of the lines from the cane slices coming together. Sorry, I needed a drink. Been talking too much, see? I'm a talker already, but geez. Anyway, if you find little spaces that are too thick, you can always try shaving some of it off and saving it for another situation. I am taking all the little edges off that don't look right. Now I try to make it nice and tight looking to get all the little lines off of the clay. And I also cut my pieces out with that particular plastic on it too. Didn't get all of it out. See, I used my knuckles. Natural burnishing tool. And I use one of these little bowls that I got from Sculpey that you can use to dome your pieces. So, yeah, see? I just run it across. It's flat. It's stainless steel, so it's not gonna bend or anything. And then I just kind of feel around, see what else needs to be burnished, and go from there. And I like to have my pieces picked out that I want to cut, my cutters. And right now I'm into shapes, you know, like circle, square, triangles. I've seen some amazing artists make some really cool stuff with real sharp corners and that. So that I'm going to start working on another time too. But I like to use mixed media when I'm doing my jewelry. So a lot of times it'll have polymer clay as the focal part of the earrings, let's say, and then I'll have a piece of resin that I'll stick like in the middle maybe, and then I'll have like a metal piece that I like to stick. Sometimes I just do the polymer clay piece and just add a ear hook or something, and that's it. Or yeah, it depends on. I don't like to make them super long, but then there are some people that like them super long, so it depends. But this, by putting the plastic over top of your clay, see how it kind of domes it so it's not real sharp cuts. It's kind of rounded looking. It looks really cool like that. So once we get all the pieces cut, I like to pull off the plastic and just make sure that if you spend most of your time making sure that the sides are good, the front and the back, you'll have a lot less time filing and buffing and all that stuff. There's one thing I dislike is filing things. I do not like it. I usually use resin a lot to do stuff, but if you have some funky edges, I wouldn't put my name on something that doesn't look nice. It's not something that I would wear myself, so why would I expect somebody else to wear something like that, right? And a lot of times when I have leftovers, I make beads with them. And it's so easy to make beads. And see, here's all the pieces I cut. And you take it off real slow and hope that it doesn't stick to the piece. See how it could just stick to the clay? But this turned out pretty nice. I'm quite happy with the things I chose. And you just do it at an angle when you're loosening up your clay. I was having a heck of a time getting that all. But see how I go through and I just make sure that those edges are nice and clean. Sometimes you have to go back through with the cutter and just recut it just to make sure or you can take your utility blade and or your craft knife, whatever you have, taking care of all of that. So, and then you just put them on your baking pan. I have a toaster oven in my studio, and I have several little pans, and I keep tin foil on them, and then I tent all of my stuff with a little sheet of tin foil on top, especially if it has translucent clay. I have had too many pieces of translucent clay tear up and burn. Not tear up, but just flat out burn, because it must be extra sensitive because it doesn't have any pigment to it. So I'm going to make little tiny earrings. Like I said, sometimes I use them for different things. So after I get everything done here, I'm going to throw them in the oven, and I will show you how they came out of the oven. And like I said, I finished the other 2 canes that I showed you in the beginning, so they're going to be on here too, so you can see all 3 canes, what they look like, and then some of the resin things I made. So please tell me in the comments what you liked, what you'd like to see. If there's something that you want to see, let me know, okay? Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. Oh yes, there's my little stamp. That's one of the older canes. But I want to thank every single one of you. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. It will help me a lot. I'm really trying to grow my channel, and you are the ones that I'm doing it for. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. It'll be fun. If you can stay with me as I'm growing. See the 2 different canes? It looks different. And like I said, the one that I used, the backing clay, that dark green, it was really dark. So yeah. Lesson learned. So yeah, I think they turned out so great. And like I said, if there's something you want to learn how to do that maybe I'd like to learn how to do too, we can learn together, okay? That's the whole purpose of me doing this, is I'm on a journey. I'm learning, and I absolutely love what I'm learning. And I've had many failures, and I even have those on video that maybe one day I will post. So here are the pieces that came out of the oven. And if you see the round ones at the top, they got real green. But the other ones didn't. Didn't they turn out cool? And then here's my resin ones. They're kind of fantastic, aren't they? I love them. So anyway, love you guys. I'll see you on the next edition. Okay? Bye.